We've believed for a long time that glasses are going to be an important part of building the next computing platform and unlocking a whole new set of experiences for people. So I'm excited that today we finally get to share what we've been working on with EssilorLuxottica.
The race to a metaverse is in full swing. And Facebook and Apple are going head to head. Facebook has announced Rayban stories. That's in full swing, and it's going to be $299. So that's already cheaper than what Apple is rumored to be pricing its retail at. So I'm trying out Facebook's Rayban stories. No. And just so we have some context here, these are augmented reality glasses. What is interesting about this space? Apple has rumored the Apple Glass, which are sunglasses, they're saying they're going to retail for about $500. But this is all, rumored to happen. This video is part of a 3-part series where I'm going to break down the metaverse and some of the products that are coming out now that allow us to consume and enjoy what's going on in this metaverse. So the first video, I'm going to talk about the metaverse in general. Second video, I'm going to talk about Facebook's offering. And in the third video, I'm going to talk about Apple's rumored offering to the metaverse. So let's begin. What is interesting is that the reason why Facebook is going head to head or going against Apple is because of all the companies that use Apple to access consumers or they have like heavy fees that they have to pay Apple just to have their apps on their platform. And so this inspired Mark Zuckerberg to purchase Oculus in 2014. And now, he's coming out with Rayban stories. And look, at the end of the day, we learn lessons from, our mistakes in the world. And who did this first? We saw it with Google. Google Glass came out. Obviously, it looked nerdy, it looked weird, and it was before its time, but it was innovative, it was great. And I'm sure Google can go back to the drawing board and figure out something, but it was before its time. It was nerdy, etc. So Facebook has solved that with Rayban stories because now they're integrating Rayban, which are very cool glasses. I think that Raybans are your typical conventional cool glasses. Like everyone believes they're cool. The only problem is that it's not going to suit everyone. And I know personally Ray-Bans don't fit me well. They don't look good on me. So that's going to be a problem. But either way, so it makes sense because look, the future is metaverses, and it makes sense that that Facebook didn't invest in creating a phone when that's going to be obsolete very soon. But instead they invested in creating these glasses so that they could step further into augmented reality. But we're going to look at some of the videos about Facebook's smart glasses, and we're going to compare it to Apple's smart glasses and see which one looks better. But I think when it comes down to it, as much as consumers trust Facebook in terms of social media, I think that Apple is more trusted when it comes to hardware. So Facebook is going to probably have to struggle or figure out how they're going to get people to purchase from them first. And it makes sense because they are releasing their product. They've announced their product before Apple has announced its product. So that was a very smart move from Mark Zuckerberg so they can enter the marketplace first. Because the issue here is that people don't trust Facebook. People do not trust Facebook. And Facebook is stating that, look, we're not going to be monitoring you with these glasses. They're trying to win people over, but people just don't trust Facebook. The irony here is that people do trust Apple, and so it was very important for Facebook to come out with their glasses at a lower price than what Apple's glasses are rumored to be at, because then it makes it more appealing. But based on the features that it seems as though Apple Glass is going to have, well, it trumps Facebook. So It's time to look at this. So the real question is, and how long will it take for Apple to develop theirs fully and to release theirs into the marketplace? Because that's going to determine who gets market share, who wins in the race. Because if Facebook comes out and they come up with, right now, the product only seems to have a camera in it, and it has Facebook stories, and it has other features, but what it appears that Apple's has is so much more superior, which makes sense why they're taking their time to get it down right. But the problem is, if they leave Facebook to dominate the marketplace for too long, well, it's going to be very difficult for Apple to catch up. Well, not very difficult, because it's Apple and people believe it's superior. And one thing I have to say is that I love the fact that these two brands are very popular and very much used and consumed by a lot of people. And I love the fact that it's going to force Apple to be more competitive. Because when you look, when Apple's agenda is planned obsolescence, they make a new iPhone every year and they barely update it. They really rarely update it, at least the aesthetics of it. But it seems like they're spending a lot more time, like with the new iPhone 13, they've spent a lot of time developing the software inside it, but not the hardware. And it's kind of a lesson that in the future is software. The future is, not hardware anymore. So it's going to be interesting to see who wins this race. But let's check out these videos, see what it's all about, and let's know what you guys would prefer to have. But before we get into that, please don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all of the above. This video is brought to you by Brand Video Pros Members Lab, an online course that helps brands and influencers scale their influence and sales. Now let's begin. All right, let's put this on. I'm going to watch Facebook's reveal.
We wanted to build something that would enable you to easily capture and share experiences from your point of view. And we thought, if we're going to build best-in-class glasses, a great place to start is with the iconic Rayban frames that people already love.
Mark Zuckerberg and his team at Facebook are the latest tech company to try to make video glasses go mainstream. The social media giant Thursday unveiled
what I have to say is that Mark Zuckerberg, I almost feel like he shouldn't be the spokesperson for Facebook. He's just not likable. It didn't help him with the movie, The Social Network. Didn't help his image much. And I just look at this because I just watched Apple's version of this talking about the new iPhone 13. And I don't know. I liked Tim Cook. I liked Steve Jobs, even though we hear terrible things about Steve Jobs. But the way he presents himself to the audience, the way he understands consumer behavior, the way he interacts with his audience, he's likable. I just feel like Mark Zuckerberg isn't likable. It's not that I don't like him personally. I can see how, as a director, as a filmmaker, I can see how an audience can be a little bit put off by him. As a CEO, as an entrepreneur, you should know when you should step to the side and hire someone else to do it that can do it better. And I think that he could have hired somebody, a spokesperson, that is going to be lovable. That is because already Mark doesn't really have a great reputation in the media and in America and in the world. And so if he focused on hiring somebody else to be his spokesperson that people will grow to love, right? Shift some of that attention away from him and he can handle all the dirty stuff. But that's the problem. Everybody wants to be in the limelight. Everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants to be the one. But sometimes maybe you don't have the talent to be the one. And that's when, as a CEO, you should step to the side and let somebody else do it. But and it's telling, this video was released on September 9th. And I am very much in this space. And why do I only find out about it on TikTok? Where on a video where a guy is scrutinizing him. Why does this video only have 1.6 million views? Why isn't this video on YouTube? Why is it only I haven't heard of this. I'm on Instagram all day. Why haven't I heard about it? How do you own the biggest social media platform and you haven't marketed your product properly? These are just questions and things to think about, because I feel like These are things that Apple has mastered and understands. They understand consumer behavior. And I just like, does Mark Zuckerberg, because Facebook, I just feel like Facebook doesn't care about its creators and doesn't really make much of an effort for its consumers the way that TikTok and YouTube do. And so like, I'm just seeing that in just the rollout and the marketing of this video.
But it calls Rayban Stories, its first pair of smart glasses, which allows wearers to capture photos and short videos, of course, to easily post on Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Users can also listen to music and podcasts, as well as take calls. Zuckerberg touted his push toward virtual and augmented reality in a slickly produced...
Okay. Ray-Ban glasses. So here's a few limitations. It's a video glass, right? So it's a camera, essentially, which are already a very different product from what Apple is offering. The second issue is that it's going to allow you to post on Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. Another limitation. When Apple comes out with a product, you're going to be able to post everywhere, which makes them more friendly, makes the consumers want to purchase them, because I can post on TikTok, I can post on everything. But with this sort of like myopic view of like, okay, I only want you to post on my platforms, that's going to limit your audience. Okay, that solves that. You can save it on your phone's camera roll so you can post it on other platforms. Makes sense. Yeah, it's better integrated for his platforms, but if you want to post it elsewhere, you can just save it to your camera roll.
And also listen to music and podcasts, as well as take calls. Zuckerberg touted his...
Okay, so you can listen to music, podcasts, and take calls. All right, so they're replacing the cell phone, which is understandable.
Push toward virtual and augmented reality in a slickly produced Facebook video.
Ray-Ban stories are an important step towards a future when phones are no longer a central part of our lives, and you won't have to choose between
Phones are no longer, see, they're trying to make phones obsolete so we can move into his products. Look, the metaverse is real.
Interacting with a device or interacting with the world around you.
Facebook is treading where another Silicon Valley...
Here's my issue, because I understand that there's I already see one like problem with it, like in terms of utility. Am I supposed to be wearing these sunglasses at night? like okay, and I saw that there are versions without the nighttime vision, but it's just kind of lame though. But I guess if you compare it to like a cell phone, you can take it off and put it back on when you're ready to do something. But they're just usability questions that I have. You know, how will I know if I take it off and it's supposed to replace my phone, I take it off, how will I know that my phone's ringing or my glasses are ringing and it's time to take off the phone? Or how will I know, you know, because I don't want to look like a nerd walking around with these glasses at nighttime. Daytime, it looks cool if it's sunny, right? And okay, so maybe it has a shade on it. Does the shade dissolve? Do the lenses like dissolve and give me like no shade? You know, because what I hear Apple is developing, we'll get to that. But these are questions.
Silicon Valley giant has gone and failed. Google set off a privacy firestorm when it launched Google Glass in 2013. The public was so off-put by the video recording frames that early adopters were called glass holes. The product was abandoned in 2015.
It's awful.
In an attempt to
Google
avoid
Glass is
that,
so lame.
Facebook has teamed up with Rayban to make its model look less geeky.
It was such a genius idea to pick Rayban as the company to do this with, because Rayban is not too high end of a designer. It's accessible. It's in that $299 range, and it is very cool, and it's a very timeless piece. It's a very timeless. The glasses are very timeless. You know, they never go out of fashion. That's what you want with something like this. It really does stand out, and it looks cool. I think that was the best company that they could have picked. It was genius. Just to add, because like I said before, Ray-Bans don't suit me unless they're super big. Where I hope they're gonna make room for people that, you know, Ray-Bans just don't suit them.
and address privacy measures by including an LED light that appears when the glasses are recording. Facebook, which has faced its own barrage of criticism over privacy and user data, said it would not access the media used by its smart glasses customers without their consent, and the $299 glasses would be an, quote, ads-free experience.
Interesting, an ads-free experience. That's so important, because if they put ads on Rayban stories, if they do that, they've already lost me as a consumer. Because like, I just think about what Elon Musk is developing with Neuralace, where he's trying to do essentially the same thing, but he's trying to put it in your brain, right? Crazy technology. I don't like trying to put a chip in your body so that like when you think something, you Google something. That's what he's like. That's next level. But one of the things that I think is interesting about what he's doing there is, does that mean that like I'm going to be sitting down thinking and then there's going to be an ad in my brain as I'm just like, and even with these Google glasses, all these glasses, is that I'm going to be experiencing the world and all of a sudden an ad's going to come off. And if I take off the glasses, the ad will stop so that when I put it back on, it starts again. Because you know, sometimes they want to make sure that you consume that ad. These are going to be some, I almost feel like if you force people to do that with your product, I mean, there has to be some laws that you're breaking by doing that. And I think, I don't know if it's civil liberties or what it is, but whatever, if they ever try to do that, I definitely think lawyers should, fight for them not to be able to do that. The only time that an ad should be played is if I am actively trying to consume a product, not if I'm just walking down the street and just because I have your glasses on, boom, you're going to put an ad. But it's questionable, because what if I'm walking down the street and I'm listening to a podcast, ad. So they're going to have to be very specific about how they go about this, because it could get very disturbing. But anyway, impressive, very interesting stuff. Okay, so in the next video, I'm going to break down the Apple Glass and, let's talk about the differences between both. So I hope this video was helpful to you. Please like, follow, subscribe, all the above, and see you next time. A peace.